Hello everyone, this is Timothy with Computer Aided Instruction. In this video, we're going to take a detour from our web design series, and we're going to talk about the creation of an image map. An image map is essentially a picture that appears on your web page, and you can create hotspots that appear in different spots of your map that can serve as links to other pages or to different parts of a page. So essentially, the image map is like a navigation bar, except it's a picture instead of a series of links with text names. So the first thing we want to do is to get a picture that we can use, and then we're going to use coding to overlay areas of our picture that are going to serve as hotspots. And the hotspots are the clickable regions of the picture that can be used to trigger an event. If we knew JavaScript, or if we wanted to use PHP or some other coding, we could create some different kinds of functionality for what we want the hotspots to trigger, such as if you click this region of a page, maybe music could start playing, or maybe it could have caused something to appear on the page. But we're not going to be getting into that level of programming. We're just going to have the hotspots serve as links to other pages. So I'm on pixabay.com. This is a great place to go to get royalty-free images. So I'm going to do a search for city. You can search for whatever you want your picture to be, but we'll just grab a picture of the city that looks cool to us. And we can make different regions of the city serve as navigable links. So you could just like have members of your audience like click different pictures, and it'll take you to different pages to explain like what is this building or what is the statue that is appearing on the picture. I like this car picture, so let's use this one. Let's go ahead and download it. Not a robot. So in my downloads folder, the Porsche picture appears here. So I'm gonna just cut it and remove it and put it somewhere else. I'm gonna go to this folder. I have a folder called image map already made, and I'm just gonna paste my picture here. So the next thing you need to do is to use an art program in order to get the coordinates for where we want our hotspots to appear. So I'm going to be using a program called GIMP. Well, here's the downloads page, but this is the landing page for gimp.org. You just want to click this download link. You want to download the latest version if you're using Windows. If you're using Mac, be sure to click Mac OS. If you're not using the Mac OS but you're using Windows, then this should work for you. If not, then you're probably not using the Windows operating system. Or if you want a Linux version, you can grab this. Nevertheless, this is the website. GIMP is just a great alternative for Photoshop. It's free. It's easy to use. Well, it's not easy to use, but it's easy to figure out. There are a ton of tutorials online. So let me open up GIMP. This is what the GIMP desktop looks like as soon as you open it up. The workstation, I should say. I'm going to, well, I don't have to open the picture this way. I could just drag and drop it from my folder to save time. And the first thing I want to do is go ahead and set the dimensions of this picture to what I want it to be on the website, because I mean I could just upload this picture as it is, which is pretty large, and then I could change the width and the height using CSS code. But if I do that, then the coordinates are going to be a little bit different. So I want to go ahead and just scale the image. So I'm going to click Image, Scale Image. I'll make it 900 pixels. And if you notice this this little chain icon, once I change the width, hit enter, it's going to change the height to keep the image in proportion. If I unlink the width and the height, then I can change the width and the height and distort the dimensions, the original dimensions of the picture. But I don't want to do that, so I want to keep this chain linked. Click the scale button, and voila. Let me go to View, Zoom, 100%, and this is what the 900 pixel wide picture is going to look like on our screen. I think this looks good. So the first thing I want to do is go into my toolbar, use the crop tool. Actually, not the crop tool. Let me grab this tool right here. This is the ellipse select tool, but I'm going to just click it and hold it down and use the rectangle select tool. So I want my hotspot to be kind of like a square, and I just want this car in the middle of my screen to serve as a hotspot, so when people click the car, it'll take them to another page. So that looks good. I'm using the ellipse select tool. Well, actually it's called the rectangle select tool. The ellipse is for circles. Rectangle is for squares and rectangles. I just draw the shape that I want, and then I gotta use my cursor and put it on the point of the page where I want my hotspot to first appear. So the top left corner of my rectangle and the bottom right corner. And I want to get the coordinates. You can see the coordinates down here in the bottom left hand corner of GIMP. So let me write these coordinates down. So this one is 287 and 111. So let me write these coordinates down with Notepad. So 287, comma 111. And the bottom right corner of our rectangle is 619, 351. If you're going to use a square or a rectangle, you only need the top left corner, I should say, and the bottom right corner. That's all you need. Your browser will fill in the rest of the details. But if we wanted to make like a polygonal shape that's irregular and it has more than 4 corners, then we'd have to get the coordinates for every corner of the polygonal shape. If it's a triangle, you would just have like a dot here, a dot here, and a dot here, and you would need to get those three edges, those 3 coordinates. So now the next thing I want to do is to create a web page, and we'll be using Atom this time. You can use Notepad++ if you want. So File, New File, File, Save As. I'm going to go to this folder that I created called Image Map. That's where I saved the first picture. I'll just call this Image Map as well, .html. It doesn't matter, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it index if you want. I'm not going to put this on the server. I'm just going to store this locally, so I'm not going to call it index.html. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new another page that I'm going to link to. So new file, file, save as. I'll just call it something like car.html. You can call it whatever you want. So I want to go ahead and exclamation point doc type HTML. Just go ahead and build out my page with HTML5 code. And then I'll have the body tags. I'm not going to bother creating a head tag with the title and the meta tags and all that stuff. I'm just going to get to the point. You guys know how to fill all of that stuff in by now if you've been watching my tutorials. So I want to basically bring up the image. So image source equals, what did I name this picture? I can't remember. I didn't save it for one thing. So let me go to File, Export As. I'm going to call it Porsche-small.png. You could save it as a JPEG if you want, but I always save everything as a PNG. PNG. I'm always in the habit of saving things as .png just because if you use a PNG, you can have transparent regions of your picture, and it'll show up and not just fill it in with like a white background. So that's why I like to use the PNG extension, just because a lot of the graphics I like to make have transparent regions. Quite often, not always, but anyways. So Porsche-small is what I want to use here in the image source. PNG is my extension. Let me give it an alt tag. Sorry. Equals, I'll just say image map of a Porsche car or something like that. And then I want to type in use map, and I want to give my map a name, so hashtag Porsche-map. And the greater than sign. So here's my picture. Here's the image source. Here's the alt tag, which is just basically some text to describe what the picture is for people who don't have images loading automatically on their screen, or if they're using a screen reader to read the page to them. And then I'm using this new code, which is use map equals some made up map name that I'm going to use right here. So next thing I want to do is create a map tag. And I have a closing map tag here that was created automatically using Atom. But I want to have some more information besides just the map tag. I want to have name equals Porsche map. So whatever I use here for use map, I need to have the same map name here. That's all you really need for the map tags, is just the name of the image map that we're going to be using. Next I want to type in area shape equals, in quotation marks I want to type in RECT for rectangle. And then I want to add in my coordinates. So I'm going to type in COORDS equals, and then I'm going to go back to my notepad, copy and paste my coordinates in that I wrote down earlier. Then I'm going to type in href equals car.html. Is that what I named the other page? Yes, it's just car, not cars, plural. And I guess I should give it an alt tag. I don't think I need to have the alt tag here since I have it here. But I'm going to double up just to be safe. Actually, I think this is completely unnecessary. But it doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt to have the alt tag twice. So basically this is saying, hey, look, we're going to create a hotspot. The area is going to be a rectangle. These are the coordinates for 2 corners of the rectangle. If you click within these coordinates, it's going to take you to this it's going to take you to the car.html page. So here's the link to where we want it to go. And here's an alt tag describing the picture. And then we have our closing map tag, closing body tag, closing HTML tag. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go to car.html. I'm going to just copy everything because I want to save time. I don't need any of this stuff for the image. I'm just going to have a p tag that says hello car owners or something like that, and a closing p tag. And this is our page. I'm saving it. And now we're going to, I'll just leave this open. We're going to go to our browser. We're going to go to the image map website that we just created. Just refreshing the page. And as you can see, when you hold your mouse over a neutral area of the image, it just looks like your cursor is just an arrow. But as soon as you hover your mouse over the hotspot, as soon as you hover your cursor over the hotspot, it turns into a hand. So let's click it, and it took us to the next page. So that's an image map in a nutshell. It's just going to serve as a navigation system for you. But like I said earlier, if we use JavaScript or if we use some other coding language, We could have the hotspot trigger something else to happen on the screen, but that's getting beyond what we need to talk about in these intro to HTML and CSS tutorials. So now let's create another hotspot. Let's make it a circle, and we'll use this gentleman standing at the street corner. He's crossing over in the crosswalk, well, he's about to. And then we can add we'll make this one a circle, and then we'll add another hotspot over here that's going to be in an irregular shape with multiple sides. So let's do that right now. Let's go back into Atom. Actually, let's not go back to Atom. Let's go back to our art program. I'm going to deselect. I'm going to click in a neutral section of the screen to get rid of this rectangle. And in my tools, in my toolbox, I'm going to click the rectangle select tool and choose ellipse select. And I'm going to draw a circle around this person standing at the corner, about to jump into the crosswalk. And I'm going to draw a circle around them. I'm going to hold my shift key down to keep it a perfect circle and not just like an irregular shaped flat circle or flat circular shape. So this will be our hotspot right here. Whoops. Now you're wondering, hey, when I have my circle, I don't have the crossbars in the middle. So what you want to do is you want to look here in your tool options. Your circle probably looks like this. I had already changed it earlier. So look for this drop menu that says no guides, click it, and then choose center lines. Now to make a circular hotspot, we definitely need the central point of the circle. So that's why you want to have the center lines. And you want to hold your mouse right over the crosshairs per se. It's not really crosshairs, but right over the vertical and horizontal bars. And then I want to get the coordinates, which are 711 and 117. I'm going to write that down. Hey. The next thing I need to do is get the radius. So from the central point to the edge of the circle, this is 753. This is 711. So we want to subtract these numbers. It's just going to be 42. Simple subtraction. That's going to be our radius. So these are the coordinates we need to use for a circle. The center point and the radius. So I'm going to make a copy of, actually, let me make, well, I'm going to hold off on copying this. Let me go back into Atom. Let me go back to image map, HTML. Let me make a copy of this. I'm going to change the shape from rectangle to circle. The coordinates are going to be what I just wrote down. The center point and the radius. So here's the center point and here's the radius. Make a copy of this. I'm going to take all this and delete it now. And the link's going to go back to car. So nothing else is going to change. So let me save it. Let's go back to the browser. Refresh the page. And as you can see, our hotspot's appearing here because we see the hand, we see the arrow, the cursor turned from an arrow to a hand. So we know this is a hotspot. Clicking it, and it takes us to the next page. So we have two hotspots. Let's add one more. So let's say we want to have a polygonal shape, just a shape with multiple sides. The easiest way to do this, let me deselect this region. I'm going to go back to rectangle select. I'm going to grab my paintbrush. Let me change the size of the brush. because this is too big. Let me make it just like 2 pixels. Not 230, just 2. So it's going to be a nice sharp point when we draw. I'm clicking Control Z on my keyboard to undo the changes that I'm making, because I don't want scribbles on the actual picture itself. So let me go to my right hand side of the screen. This is the picture that we're using, so let's add a layer on top of it. So hover your mouse over here where it says create a new layer, and just click OK. And now we have a transparent layer sitting on top of the image, so we can draw without worrying about warping our the base layer, which is the picture of the car. So let me click a region of the image. Let me hold the shift key down to get this guiding line. And let me click again. Let me click here. Maybe we can click here, 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 and back to the original point. More or less the original point. So what I need to do is get the coordinates for this edge, this point, this point, this point, this point, and this point. So this is more or less going to be 5834. Where's my notepad? $58.34. Then we'll go down to this point, which is 59,268. We can just say 58,268 to make it a little bit. We'll just pretend like it's a straight line. This point is going to be 182,201. The next point is going to be right here, which is 208.97. The next point is going to be right here, which is 157.19. And this dip is going to be 125.135. Now let's go back into Atom. Let's make a copy of this. Paste it. Instead of circle, we're going to make the shape a polygon, so just type in poly. The coordinates are going to be all of these numbers right here. Just cutting and pasting. And we're saving. Now let's go back into our browser. Refresh the page. Here's our first hotspot, here's our second hotspot, and our third hotspot. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to create an outline showing where the hotspot resides. I mean, I could go back into the art program and save this picture so that you can see the outline for where this should be and for the circle and things like that. That's just not going to look good. So let's just leave it like this. You can more or less figure out like where the hotspot begins and ends by looking at how your cursor changes from a hand to an arrow. So that dip ended somewhere right here. These coordinates look a little bit off compared to what I was originally drawing. The dip is right here. No, actually, no, that's correct. Sort of. Yeah, so this is the dip. Here's that top kind of like triangle area. The bottom of this shape ends in here somewhere, right here. And then it extends to here. Then it goes up to like right around here, and then it goes this way. So right around here, yeah, that's what it was supposed to look like. So nevertheless, if we click it, it takes us to the next page. So I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. It's just a way to have a navigation system that's kind of fun. But if you're going to do something like this, you really should have some instructions under the picture, because most people aren't going to look at a picture and think, hey, this is some interactive element on our page. So let me go back into Atom. Let me add some instructions beneath the map. We'll say something like hover your mouse over the map. Over the image, I should say. I don't know. These aren't the best instructions in the world. You guys can think of something else to write. But hover your mouse over the map and click different regions of the image to be taken to another screen with more information, or to another page. And like I was saying earlier, if we need JavaScript, we could have pop-up windows jump out of the screen when you click the different regions, the different hotspots, I should say. We could have like a pop-up window appear with some information. So like if we had like a diagram of like a heart, we could say when you click different regions of the heart, little factoid text boxes will pop up and give you information about the different valves, or how blood is flowing through the heart into different veins and things like that. So how you use this lesson is up to you. You'll have to use your imagination, but for now I'm only showing you how to convert these hotspots into links. In a future video, I guess we could talk about making pop-up windows. But for now, I just want to say thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.